Welcome to day 2. The minions are out here, which would be Zach and myself. Good morning. We're gonna put this header on the trailer because we gotta adjust the feeder house. So gotta unhook everything and fix that. Takes 2 people. And then Matt is going, well, he's already getting parts for the moisture sensor that went bad yesterday. So it's another beautiful day. Ragweed update still sucks, but you can't get any better than this, right? So we're gonna get that taken care of, and then hopefully by the time Matt comes back, it'll be a little drier. Right now it's pretty wet, so. Oh! And we have a policy here at Griggs Farms that no ear is left behind. So I'm gonna go throw that in there.
Alright, we are back to running again. Although we are getting a pretty dang late start today. It's about 2:45. This moisture tester is a lot more difficult than what I thought. What we thought was wrong with it turned out not to be wrong with it. Took a lot more diagnostic work with a multimeter and then an additional trip of town to get what we needed. But we got it all up and working. We got our auto steer calibrated, got it working. Everything's running smoothly on the combine. So hopefully we got all of our early season bugs knocked out of the way. I think we just about got our porous ground all out of the way. We just got a few more acres scattered here and there. So we're on up to, we're going from poor ground to just average ground now, and yield's looking really good. We're up around 200 bushels an acre on our average ground. We do have 2 good bottoms on this farm. One of them we got test plots in. Eventually see how high they go. We may reach the bottom today before we go home. I don't know yet. Got a lot of bushels gonna come off this farm though.
Alright, so here we are, first official day of corn harvest 2021. We fired up yesterday, but we spent about 6.5 hours. Ooh, that being's loud. We fired up yesterday, but we spent about 6.5 hours downtime because of a busted brake caliper, which caused the parking brake to lock down on the combine, and that was more of an ordeal than what we thought. So we got 2 loads cut yesterday, but mainly yesterday was working out all the kinks, make sure everything's set up right, calibrations. Got everything fired up this morning. Our moisture sensor was messed up, but we got that back going pretty quick. So first full running load that's not due to calibrations or getting everything tuned in is about to be going into bins. So I've got to get bin 3, one of these big bins, set up. This is what we're going to go into. Get the door open, run a little bit, make sure everything's going to be okay. Then we will officially be rocking and rolling on corn 21.
We got a small creek bottom here on this farm, and man alive, it's corn good. That's what we're capable of producing here in West Tennessee, even on 38-inch rows, as long as it's got everything it needs. Can't argue with those numbers. Woo! If it's doing this in Crockett County, man, I can't wait till we get our better ground in Madison County, see what it does. And other notes, you remember during wheat harvest, had problems with the combine running hot. Look at that temperature. Well, staying right where it needs to. Looks like the radiator was a problem. So she's staying cool as a cucumber now. Well, I tell you what, this big old header's eating up the acres fast. It's actually really beneficial in these small fields compared to my old 6-row header, making me more efficient because of not having to turn around but half as much as what I was before. And small fields like what we're in now, that can save quite a bit of time. One downside too is that it does make it a little bit more difficult to open a field up, you know, the first pass around the field, because my grain tank holds just a hair over 300 bushels and 38 feet wide of some, you know, high yielding corn. You don't get very far before your grain tank's full, so there's a lot of instances you can't make it all the way around the field, and then the grain buggy has to follow you, and then you got to cut out a spot to unload in, and you know, you got some maneuvering that way. But that's a small price to pay for increased productivity. I'm really pleased on how well this corn was standing. You know, we had those severe storms come through the night of July 31st and August 1st that really whipped our cotton around and laid a lot of it down. But the corn fared real well. I've seen a couple spots where it was leaning a little bit, but this Pioneer corn, it stood strong through those winds. I think we had at least 70-mile-per-hour winds through here, and with a big old ear on it, that's a lot of pressure on this stalk, but it's holding up and standing well.
So after this time not as long as yesterday, but I want to say 4 hours, we finally have the combine running again. Just got the first buggy full, and our trusty companion has followed us out to the field. Come on, Drake, you gotta get out the way, buddy. Come on. He'll move. Drake! We never said he was the brightest, we just said he was loyal. So, yeah, it's been an eventful 2 days for sure, but still really beautiful outside, and maybe we'll get a couple acres cut before it gets wet. Yeah.
Where's my grain buggy? Sitting full again. Kelly's really been running back and forth. It don't take no time at all to fill this thing up. She hadn't had much time to sit there in the tractor and watch Hulu today. And we're over here on the front part of the farm. When we get way back there in the back, I'm really going to be doing quite a bit of waiting here. Come on, Turtle, let's go. That ought to get her eyes out of her.
Oh, you mean I need to go slower? Okay.
That tractor is capable of 26 miles an hour. First unloading on the go of the year. Finally got in a spot where we could manage it. Kelly disappointed me in her comeback. I was expecting something a a little more snappy than that. Especially considering before we ever started, she told me if I yelled at her one time, she was parking it.
I'm gonna give you one chance though. You get one time to yell at me, and then after that, I'll just park the green buggy.
Only one. I think she's really liking this slower speed that I'm going while shelling corn. On my 6-row header, we'd have to go along about 5.7, 5.8 miles an hour to keep this combine full. Now we trucking on along about 3.1, 3.2. A lot nicer speed in some of our fields. All right, we finally made it down here to the bottom, good ground, right here next to the creek. Yield's going to be off a little bit until we get on out in the field a little bit, but sun's about to go down. We've had a real good day running ever since we got the moisture sensor fixed and got started. So I reckon what we're going to try to do is get my test plots laid off. I got test plots starting right there on the next pass. Boys, these are the yields that sure will make me smile. You know, it makes, you know, like I said earlier, you know, we planted our first seed. Well, now it's 146 days ago. You know, for the last 146 days, this crop, well, not necessarily corn as much as cotton and soybeans, but our crops have needed constant attention every single day. A lot of decisions we've had to make, you know, trying to predict what would happen with weather and what the best call was to make the last 145 days. It's been a long time, but I know we messed some things up this year, but ultimately it looks like we made a lot more good decisions on this crop than we did bad decisions. And it looks like we'll be, based on the early results, looks like we'll be around to plant another crop next year. Come on, Kelly, I'm full. I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but I've got the camera inside the cab. And usually in corn harvest, by this time of the day, these windows are so nasty, you can't hardly see out of them, but you can tell we still got pretty good visibility. One thing I did different to this year is, you know, I mentioned it in one of, in my last Ask the Farmer video, instead of waxing our stuff, we've gone to using a ceramic coating. And well, I decided to apply ceramic coating to the glass, just seeing if it would help with dust sticking to the glass. And so far, I'd say the early results are good. I mean, there's a little bit of dust on the glass, but it's just not caked thick to where you can't hardly see out of it. I'm pretty pleased so far. Maybe I found the secret to keeping windows clean. The stainless steel bottom we put there in the bin and the poly we put on the augers, doing a good job. All right, I think we got 2 more bin fulls to cut to load the truck up, and we're probably gonna call it a day. I think that's the USDA calling me. They've been calling me every night, but they won't leave a message, and guess what? You don't leave a message and I don't have your number programmed in my phone, I ain't answering. I think they're mad at me because I started refusing to fill out their acreage and production surveys. I quit doing that about 2 years ago because I got tired of every time they put a report out, it would send the market into a dive because they would over-report either acres or production. Eventually they would produce the correct numbers, but usually that was well after I'd already sold my crop. So I told them, if y'all are going to put out inaccurate numbers with me reporting my stuff to you, guess what? I ain't reporting to you no more. There ain't no law that says I got to, and you sure ain't paying me for it, so you can take your survey and you can shove it. The old lady I was talking to at the time, she didn't take too kindly to those comments and abruptly said okay and hung up. But they still keep calling me for whatever reason. But guess what? You don't leave a voicemail, I got no obligation to call you back. Look at that, 200 bushels an acre, and I mean, we're right beside the tree line. How's that? Still having a little bit of problem with throwing grain out the back. Well, you say the moisture, we're about 20% moisture corn. They just don't want to flow through the seeds quite as good. But it only spikes up there every now and then.
So we have done 6 trucks off this farm so far. I don't know how many acres, but rolling along all right. Wish we could have been done with it, but we're not. So this is the last of it for the night, and then tomorrow hopefully we won't have any breakdowns and we can actually roll maybe through this farm and move. I know Matt has test plots to do tomorrow, so yeah, until then it's just the same thing every day. Corn, corn, corn. Yes, Matt gets the timely job of cleaning the combine. Not much cleaning going around over here. I mean, grab my stuff and leave. But wanted to show you Mr. Loyal over here. Mr. Drake has been out here all day with us, waiting for his mommy. He's gonna ride back with me. Oh, that's the end of our day. It was a beautiful sunset though. Missed it, and it was pink and purple. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get my camera out and get some better shots.
Okay, so for the first time since I've been here, we're playing musical grain bins.
The first time, really?
This is the first time we've done this.
No.
So, since I've been here, this corn was really wet. So, we put it in this bin because it's way easier to dry down in this small bin. It's dried down enough to where it can go into the big bin way down there. So now we're transferring. That's why it's so quiet down here for one, because we're transferring. But there's like,
you notice the only time that the loop doesn't scream is when we're playing transfer.
you're right.
Other
There's
than
like,
that, it sounds like a horror movie outside.
dude, there's like 2,100 bushels in here. We're gonna get it moved. We know that we're gonna have more wet corn, so we're not gonna sweep it.
Well, look, it looks like a donut.
Yeah.
Donut. You want to get in?
It'll empty out though.
Oh, I know.
Eventually. That's what we're doing now. I'm not changing my load sheet because I've already changed it once. And now that we're moving it, I'm just gonna write down from bin 1 to 3.
Bin 1, 3.
We'll figure it out later.
All right, try it. And just when I thought it was going to be an easy morning, this tractor decided to be a butthole and start throwing all sorts of codes. And that's what we're looking at. Way to jump it off, that's probably the supply voltage. And it says it's got excess brake pad wear. And then I don't know what that power stage is. Let's just try clearing them all out here. Alright, that cleared out the electrical problems. Now I just got the brake pad excess wear. No big deal. I guess I just need to start bringing my laptop to the field every morning. Alright, at long last, we finally getting started again today. Get another real late start. Had sensor problems on the combine that I had to fix this morning. That was a little bit more difficult than we thought. Got a grill calibrated. Then just we got the combine fired up, fixing to start shelling corn. Found out it didn't have any GPS. Spot receivers out, trying to figure out what the problem was, and finally got to come back online. So we're rolling now. We got about 40 acres left on this farm. Gonna try and get it finished up today. Normally it wouldn't be a problem, but we got 2 sets of test plots to do today, so that's gonna take a little bit of time. All right, Kelly, we're ready to do the plots. Plots are 6 rows wide and gonna dump on each end. I'm gonna go down here at the end and measure the length real quick, and then we'll get started on them. Alright, that just got our Rutella plots done. We got about another 20 acres to harvest before we get to our second set of plots. But anyway, that Rutella is a mycorrhiza seed inoculant that we're trying out. We had it replicated 6 times out here on this plot. Just trying to introduce mycorrhiza into the soil and seeing if it shows any kind of yield benefits. And the mycorrhiza is a fungus that grows in the soil. It lives in a symbiotic relationship with the plant roots and basically extends the reach of what the roots can get to, how much soil it can come in contact to, bringing in more nutrients and water. So I'll get home, get these numbers plugged into the spreadsheet, and I'll post the results in case you're interested. Boy, look at these yields. They stout down here in this bottom. Pioneer 1077. Planted at about, it's 30,000, about 200 pounds of nitrogen total. I think maybe I should have entered this in the corn yield contest. We're now 3,300 bushels per hour at a brisk 2.6 miles per hour. All right, we just got over here to the Pioneer Nutritia plots. This is a foliar applied biological bacteria that's supposed to produce nitrogen for the corn. It fixes atmospheric nitrogen and then provides it to the corn. We got 3 separate plots replicated twice each with different rates of nitrogen on the treated and untreated, and we're trying to see if there's any kind of yield difference. We took some tissue tests twice at R1 and R3 of the corn during the growing season, and we saw significantly higher nitrogen concentrations in the treated plots versus the untreated plots. So hopefully it's going to pay off with some increased yield. But got Carter out here. I'm going to put him on the grain buggy. I'm going to have Kelly up here in the combine, and then I'm going to be in the side-by-side running measurements on the plots and taking weights, because we got different row lengths on each 12-row plot. So I'm going to be out collecting data and turn the combine over to Kelly.
Not the 6-row back, please. Keep going like a turtle. That's awesome.
Alright, they got our test plots done. Took a lot longer than I was hoping though. But we just got a couple acres left. We'll have our first farm out of the way. First 82 acres. It looks like, according to yield monitor, the average yield's gonna come in at about 164 bushels per acre. For the type of ground that this farm is, that's pretty dang good. I mean, those two bottoms that total about 20 acres, they really pulled that average yield up. But overall, even on this old hill ground right here, I'm still real pleased with it. But anyway, we've just about done with this farm. I guess I'll go ahead and call it a video. It's Friday today. Tomorrow we're gonna go right across the ditch. I got about 25 acres of some custom harvesting to do for one of my neighbors. I don't think I'll record any of that, and probably going to shut down early tomorrow on Saturday. Brett Michaels is going to be playing at the Soybean Festival up there in Martin, Tennessee, and me and Kelly like to get up there and see that, so hopefully we'll get done with that custom harvesting relatively quick and can get up there and enjoy a night off. But anyway, I appreciate y'all watching. Stay tuned. We'll be back with some more corn harvesting action soon.